Okay, guys, so I promise in this video we do actually have a lot of exciting and good news to talk about, but of course we have to start off today by acknowledging the elephant in the room. This is the bad news. This is the weird stuff going on in CS2 right now, but honestly I think there could be a light at the end of the tunnel, and in a weird way at the end of the day this could be some good news. It's obviously a bad sign that CS2 is having such a big issue and such a kind of like big breakdown or exploit or whatever this long into the release, but again, CSGO always had weird random things happening. People are always going to be trying to break the game, coming up with new things. There's always going to be new exploits and bugs and all that, but this is currently what CS2 looks like today. I'm recording this video on April 7th. This guy sent me this video, but it's all over Twitter, it's all over YouTube, whatever. CS2 console wall hack, and this is what people can do in the game right now. They can turn a wall hack on during their game of CS2 by just simply using a console command. You don't even have to like have some high level cheat or some crazy big thing or whatever. It's simply just a console command that you can put in, and this is what you can see. You can have literally a wall hack in the game. It's like looks like it's like a toggle on and off or whatever, but yeah, you can see where the other team is. You can see where everyone is. This is the state of matchmaking in Premiere and Face It and everything right now, so obviously it's not in a great state. You don't really necessarily want to play it. This guy's got the console, he says in the description, but I don't really want to share any of that stuff, obviously. But again, here is what some of the stuff looks like, where you can see apparently maybe you can even have it without the entire screen going black. I don't really know. I haven't really looked into it that much. I don't really care. Obviously, I think Valve can, will, and should hopefully fix this pretty quickly. I know today's a Sunday, so maybe they won't be able to fix it until like the weekdays or whatever, but obviously this is very big, very game-breaking thing, and I have to imagine it's not too difficult to just disable the console or disable this console command or fix whatever, but it's also maybe some bigger exploit that could continue to be used by cheaters and stuff like that. Who knows? I don't know. Pretty weird. But obviously, one good thing that I do think will and could and should come out of this is the fact that Valve can simply ban everyone that's using it. You know, if you are knowingly using a cheat, and this is no accident, you know, you have to literally go into your console, type in the command, all that stuff. If you are using that cheat, I think you can and should get banned. And honestly, at the end of the day, that would be good. This is such an easy way for Valve to ban a bunch of people who are cheating in the game, and they can have a list and get a bunch of these bad eggs out of the game, which again, at the end of the day, I think could be a good thing. Now, the Face It community manager did tweet out this as well. He said, our anti-cheat team has identified users who played on Face It with the cheat exploit, and bans are currently going out to those individuals. Osni tweeted out that Face It announced they would ban everyone who used the cheating exploit, and they weren't kidding. Hundreds of accounts got banned in the last half hour. Should Valve do the same? It is cheating after all, and yes, I absolutely believe Valve should do the same. It is very, very blatant cheating that you had to knowingly and willingly go do. You know, so I think why not? Why would these people not be banned? Why would they not be punished? And it is cool to see that Face It is being very, very proactive and was able to acknowledge this stuff and get those bans out, whatever. So that is great. That's kind of the bad news to get out of the way. But a lot of the good news that we do have to get into, some of it does involve the anti-cheat. This is another clip that Osni did tweet out. I believe it's on his YouTube and stuff like that. You guys should definitely go check him out. Follow him on Twitter at Osni_CS2. You can look up Osni, his name right there, on YouTube as well. He's got a couple different channels. He's always pumping out CS2 content. You know, I think I'm a grinder. I think I put in a lot of work. This man is a grinder as well, to the definition of the word. So I just have a ton of respect for him and what he does. But he recently put out a couple of his like YouTube clips and stuff on Twitter, and I wanted to show them to you guys as well. He said Valve is aware of the cheating problem in CS2, and an anti-cheat update might be coming. And again, this is very, very good timing on this, especially with all the craziness and cheating and stuff that's going on currently today. So let's see what Osni has to say in this clip and what he was able to find.
It looks like Valve is aware of the huge cheating problem in CS2 because apparently Sponge, Moses and Yinko talked with a Valve employee at the after party of the CS2 Major. And in this talk they discussed the cheating problem in Counter-Strike, and according to them, a better anti-cheat is Valve's #1 priority at the moment. Here is the clip from their podcast.
I got the distinct impression from speaking with them that
there's no cheaters. I think they said
Jason, there was not a cheating problem, and they said that you know, they don't know what everyone's kind of talking about, and they have not been able to discover and replicate any of the cheating issues.
I can't wait for the Reddit thread.
No, but I got the distinct impression. Yeah. Okay. The anti-cheat is their #1 priority at the moment.
That's also the impression that I got.
And I can't go deeper than that because they can't go deeper than that because it's anti-cheat and it's extremely secretive. But the anti-cheat is obviously a very high priority for them.
So again, they're saying that they heard this directly from a Valve employee or people that work on Counter-Strike or whatever, that the anti-cheat is currently their number one priority, and obviously that is great to hear. And I do believe this, because now that the Copenhagen Major has come and gone, Valve doesn't have to worry about Copenhagen Major stuff and whatever. They can kind of focus in on this. Now, obviously, this seems a little bit weird, because now, since then, we've seen that it seems like Valve's number one priority is fucking up CS2 trading, or fighting with CSGO Empire, or, taking down Float and GamerPay and all these other websites. It's like, how are they wasting so much time and resources and energy on all this stuff if they're saying that the anti-cheat is their number one priority, and if it also seems like to most users that the anti-cheat is a much bigger deal than whatever is going on with CSGO Empire or gambling websites or whatever, or just kind of fucking up the markets and people's investments and everything. So a little bit weird, a little bit strange, but again, it does seem like the anti-cheat is their number one priority. Now, again, a lot of people would say, hey, the anti-cheat should have been their number one priority before the game was ever even released. CS2 should have never come out without a fully functional anti-cheat. But I know also on Valve side, they say, hey, the more information and data and games and everything we have, the more better we can put together a functional anti-cheat. So they needed, people to come up with cheats and to find cheaters and all that stuff. Whatever, I get it. And at the end of the day, also better late than never. If we eventually, at some point in CS2's life, get to a point where there is a very, very functional and good anti-cheating system, that will be amazing, and it will still be worth it in the end, as long as we do eventually get to that point. So if at some point in this year we do get a very, very big update where there's some awesome new exciting AI, anti-cheat system or whatever, that will be insane for Counter-Strike. That will be insane for the game, because that is so many people's top complaint, and what so many people claim prevents them from playing the game at all or playing the game more or whatever. So we could potentially maybe see some, big increase in the longevity of people playing CS2 or people returning to CS2 or whatever. And if Valve, if this is a number one priority right now, then again, we should be expecting to see some updates at some point in 2024, maybe mid to late 2024 or whatever. Obviously, like he said, these things are very secretive, because you can't have people knowing too much about it, because that's going to obviously help the hackers and cheaters and whatever. But I did think this was a little bit interesting. Couple more big things to get into. Another clip from Osni talking about stuff from that same podcast where he says new maps are coming to CS2, which, again, people want new content and people want fixes to the anti-cheat system. So this is two very, very, very big updates here.
We have new information on the next maps coming to CS2. We have had leaks of Cobblestone, Tuscan and Train returning to Counter-Strike, but Sponge, Moses and Yinka mentioned in their podcast that in the after party of the CS2 Major, they spoke to someone who works at Valve, and they asked them if Train was coming back to CS2, which they pretty much confirmed. Here's the clip.
Here's another thing I don't have any more details to, but they are working on maps. There are people working on new maps for Counter-Strike. Some of them may or may not have a Train in them.
Wow.
Yeah.
The thing is, well, no, okay. Well, Jason is actually saying that, and he's legit. Like,
I asked them specifically about Train, and they go, well, we have maps being worked on, and one of them, I think, has a Train on it.
So again, that doesn't necessarily mean that Train is coming back or whatever, but again, as Osni's saying, paired up with the leaks and files and stuff that we have, that there are some new CS2 files for Train or whatever, it does seem like we're going to be getting some new maps at some point, whether that is Cobblestone or Cache or Train or Tuscan or some of these other maps that like FM Pwn and guys like that have been working on. And that's obviously not entirely breaking news, but there are obviously some old iconic maps that people want to return, and people just want new content in general. I know a lot of people are saying the active duty map pool is getting a little bit stale, and just in general, people want those maps to be able to play in Premiere or even in Ranked or whatever, and more content and new content and refreshing content and updates to some of these old maps and even brand new maps altogether can never be a bad thing. 'Cause even if they suck, you just don't play them, and if they're great, then hey, that gets more people involved in the game. People just want options, people just want choices, because again, CS2 when it released was pretty bare bones with not a lot of options, a lot of content and stuff missing. So if we do get some new maps at some point, if we get the return of Train or any of these other maps, that's going to be very exciting. And again, it does seem like from what they're saying, this is something that Valve is currently working on and probably expects to have some updates on soon. The last big news that I did want to talk about, again, this is very, very exciting as well. Again, despite all the problems with cheating and anti-cheats and even cheating going on today as we speak, and all the issues with CS2 trading going on and all that stuff, again, the markets are still holding strong, and the player base is holding strong and increasing as well. Just today, April 7th, 2024, we got a new 24-hour peak that is like breaking the records for CS2 and increasing. Again, I believe CS2 came out in about October, so at that point, our peak players was 1.364. Average players was 792. And again, yes, after the release of CS2, this did drop down for a couple of months. People weren't necessarily impressed with CS2 on release or whatever, but again, Valve has released new content. They've given some new cool updates for crafting and stickers and all that stuff, and they've been fixing the game. They've been making it feel more and more fluid, more and more playable, hit registration, all that stuff. And the CS2 major, the first major, was pretty hype, pretty exciting, pretty awesome. Things are trending in the right direction. Again, yes, even though trading's fucked right now, even though the cheating problem is not totally under control, we are still breaking the peak players for CS2 record recently. And again, we saw more players in February, we saw more players in March, and so far in April, we are seeing more players once again. So this could be 3 straight months of growth, which is very, very exciting good news. If you're a player of CS2, if you're an investor, a collector, whatever, if you like the esports, anything, this is a very, very, very good sign. And again, my biggest thing is that there are still issues with CS2. We know that. There's still a lack of content in the game. There's still a lack of big, exciting new updates. There is still a cheating problem. But yet, despite all that, the game continues to grow for 3 months. And this just shows that Valve can still do so much more to fix the game and make it even better. And then we will see even more growth. And to me, that makes me very, very optimistic as an investor, collector, and all this stuff, and just an enjoyer of the game overall. So again, this was just really, really great news to see that we have once again hitting a new CS2 record for the player base. So hey, things are pointing up. I think 2024 is going to continue to be a big year. Obviously, the trading stuff is a little bit scary. The cheating stuff's a little bit annoying, but I do think we're going to get through this, and I think everything's going to be okay at the end of the day. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully I catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.